What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the Ragin Nation Show. This is just a web series where we're talking about all things that matter to me in the world of upcoming films. In this episode, we're going to talk about Ghostbusters. Now, you're probably thinking, why do we got to talk about Ghostbusters? Ghostbusters has already been said and done. We all know that there's going to be a female-driven cast Ghostbusters reboot directed by Paul Feig. Alright? Well, that's not all. Apparently, there's more Ghostbusters coming out. Well, let's just go back in time and let's talk about how this happened, okay? First of all, I gotta say that this Ghostbusters female reboot, it is happening. It's coming out next year. But the way Sony Pictures handled it was kind of questionable. I mean, how come all of a sudden it just happened? Dan Aykroyd had been working on making a movie happen with not an all-female cast for more than 10 years. And then suddenly, Sony Pictures just walked all over him and just decided to go with a completely female-driven cast. Reboot. Why did it happen? Why did it happen like this? This is very, very questionable. I mean, what about Dan Aykroyd and his, and his ideas, which he's been working on for a very, very long time? Well, looks like Dan Aykroyd isn't actually completely, screwed out of his ideas. It looks like that it still could actually happen, and according to a lot of the news that has been going on, it looks like it's actually gonna happen. And what I mean by actually happening is that it's gonna be a non-female driven Ghostbusters movie. Okay, with male cast members, okay? Well, anyways, okay, first of all, we already know that the Russo brothers, that's Joe and Anthony Russo, they were talking with Sony Pictures and they agreed to go with a 3-year first look deal with Sony Pictures. Now, like I said before in a previous video, as soon as people think of Sony Pictures, they automatically think of Spider-Man. This is not the case, okay? I mean, well, it is the case because people actually thought they were going with Spider-Man, but actually, in this case, this is not the case. The Russo brothers are not directing a Spider-Man film. What they're doing is that they're going to be directing a new Ghostbusters film, and these are the right guys to do it. They obviously understand these kind of concepts and these ideas and these creative projects, and you know what? With Dan Aykroyd writing, Ivan Reitman producing, and the Russo brothers directing, you got yourself a winning combination. Now, the thing is that, do people want to see another Ghostbusters film? Especially after, what we're going to see in 2016. Do people want to see that? Well, Dan Aykroyd still wants it to happen. And it looks like Ivan Reitman, while I don't know how involved he is with the female-driven Ghostbusters film, but he is at least more invested in this project, okay? Dan Aykroyd's not letting go. He really wants it to happen. He's not gonna say that I spent the last 10 to 15 years working on this only to not let it happen. Looks like it's actually happening, and with a great team of directors, the Russo brothers, on board, it looks like it's given Sony Pictures more confidence to actually make Dan Aykroyd's ideas happen. So that is actually pretty awesome. Now, a little while back, Dan Aykroyd did mention that he would love to see Ghostbusters turn into its own cinematic universe, okay? And when I first read that, I thought that Dan Aykroyd was crazy, okay? Why does it need to be its own cinematic universe? It's one of those one-off ideas. I don't see it as being a cinematic universe, but he's probably have some really, really big ideas in his head, okay? But it looks like a cinematic universe is actually happening. The Ghostbusters cinematic universe. Okay, now, why does Sony Pictures even want to pursue this idea? Well, they just lost their cinematic universe. They had a cinematic universe called Spider-Man. It's gone. It's been lent out to the character, at least, who leads the cinematic universe, has already been lent out to Marvel Studios, okay? So they don't really have a cinematic universe at the moment, so they decided, let's just take one of their existing properties, and that is Ghostbusters, and turn it into a cinematic universe. First starting with the female-driven Ghostbusters reboot directed by Paul Feig. Next, and most likely the following year, 2017, then have the Russo brothers directed male cast members Ghostbusters follow-up, okay? That's gonna be it won't be a sequel, but it'll be like its own thing. Maybe it'll be a sequel, I don't know. And then afterwards, the cinematic universe continues with 4 more films, okay? I'm not talking about including the 2. I'm talking about 4 other films for a total of a 6-film cinematic universe. I guess Dan Aykroyd really convinced the studios, or the Russo brothers really gave the studios that vote of confidence that Dan Aykroyd's ideas could work, okay? Now, here's the crazier part, okay? Magic Mike himself, Channing Tatum, a very bankable actor, okay, is going to be a part of that universe. He's going to be the guy that the Russo brothers will be directing. Now, to top things off, another bankable star, Chris Pratt. Everybody loves Chris Pratt. He's also possibly on board, okay? The Channing Tatum thing and the Chris Pratt thing, that's still up in the air, not 100% confirmed, but what is confirmed is the Russo brothers are directing, and Chris Pratt and Channing Tatum have expressed interest in actually being Ghostbusters, okay? Actually, I think that's good news. I'd love to see Channing Tatum and Chris Pratt and their chemistry together. I think it could be on-screen cinematic goodness, or rather greatness, okay? Now, if Dan Aykroyd's writing, I'm sure they could have some great ideas. Dan Aykroyd is a really great writer. I mean, look at Ghostbusters, okay? So there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video. I'm just really surprised that this Ghostbuster craziness is not over. I thought that as soon as they put the Paul Feig directing with a female cast on board, I thought it was a nail in the coffin, and then it was done, and it was a big F you to Dan Aykroyd. Okay, I thought that was what was actually happening. But Dan Aykroyd's a fighter. Okay, he's a creative fighter. Okay, and he won't take no for an answer. So, looks like it's happening. Anyways, here's what we got. Russo brothers directing, Ivan Reitman producing, Dan Aykroyd writing, Magic Mike and Star-Lord in the film, and four films after the reboot with the females, and then Channing Tatum and Chris Pratt's version. 6 films in total. How do you feel about a Ghostbusters cinematic universe? It sounds ridiculous, but I at least want to see the Channing Tatum and Chris Pratt version. At least, okay? So there you have it. That's all I got to say in this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation. Also follow me on Twitter, @RaginNation. My name's Alex. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace. Of what it's really about. What it's really about is this big corporation trying to eliminate a robot that's self-aware and